Hello everybody. While I made it abundantly clear that I'm more of a Spyro fan than a Crash fan, Crash managed to get another chance out of fourth game, but unfortunately Spyro hasn't. So while we're waiting for the maybe not fourth game that may or may not happen, I got a couple of ideas or things I would like to see them try. So here's my top 12 things I'd love to see in Spyro 4. The bubble breath from Enter the Dragonfly. Alright, calm down, hear me out. Instead of just making them capture dragonflies, why don't you make them so that they could cause damage to the enemies? Soup can in fact burn eyes after all. They also have a lot of puzzle potential, like having Spyro flap his wing as a wind move to be able to get the bubble to further places. Maybe there's an item you want to grab, but it's out of reach, so you use the bubble breath to bring the item closer to you. I truly believe with the right execution, this could have the potential to become a great breath and not just a silly, easily mockable one. In fact, for number 11, I'd also want the elemental breath from A New Beginning. Fire is obviously going to make it, no duh. But I'd also want them to give another shot at electric, ice, and earth. Make electric a lot more powerful, add more moves for ice, and change earth to not just be a green glowy thing, but something more like earth bedding from Avatar The Last Airbender. Maybe not from the mouth for that one though. I want them to give these another chance because just like the bubble breath, they have a lot of puzzle potential that was almost untapped in A New Beginning. Sandbox flight. I say sandbox and not free flight because personally I don't think free flight is a really good idea. No, no, don't finish that. Again, hear me out. I feel like with free flight, there's a very high risk they make the map too big, not only causing you to easily be lost, not only making flight a complete chore, but it also ends up making free flight boring after a while. So what do I have in mind when I say sandbox? Well, in my mind, it's something more like the levels in Mario Odyssey. They weren't too big, but they weren't too small either. They were the perfect size. And with a few tweaking to help better fit flight, I'd say you could end up with something really fun here. A comedic story in vein of a hero's tale. Even though I liked where it was going, I felt like the way Spyro was written is too mean-spirited. The writing can still be mean-spirited, but keep the characters in character and not out of character. I might even suggest taking a few influence from Freakazoid and Animaniacs in terms of comedy, or even Craftsman over Mutant. As much as I don't like that game, even I have to admit, the writing in that game is pretty funny. Cosmetic costumes. I love costuming games. You could have your own clothing style in a game. That's already sweet enough as it is. So here's a few ideas I have. Normal, which is pretty much the default for Spyro 4, PS1 Spyro, Reignited Trilogy Spyro, LGBTQ Spyro, now with different varying colors that match a flag, Fancy Spyro in a suit, Ratchet Spyro, Cat Spyro, Crash Spyro, Japanese Spyro, Skylander Spyro, Prototype Green Spyro, and Duck Spyro. That's all I got for now. I really want a Duck Spyro, that'd be amazing. T. Lopes as the music composer. Granted, I'm aware it's an odd choice, but with the music he provided for both Sonic Mania and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, he can produce gold that matches with the subject matter he's working with. So that's why I think he'd be great for Spyro 4. A new villain that isn't Nasty Nork or Ripto. Don't get me wrong, they are both great, but I'd like to see a new villain. Someone who has some kind of issue with Spyro. Someone who can be both funny and delightfully seriously threatening, like Hades from Disney's Hercules. It should also be a creature that hasn't been used for a villain before. A watercolor and oil on canvas art style. With the Spyro franchise being rooted with magic, fairies, and dragons, it almost seemed like a fairy tale with the way the trilogy had their loading screens in a book. So why not take advantage of that with the graphics? Have it be a mix of watercolor and oil on canvas to really convince the fairy tale angle, opposite to the science and machines of the Crash Bandicoot franchise. I'd say it's fitting to try this out.
Hell no, there's no such thing as magic.
Add a bunch of new moves for Spyro. I already mentioned flapping his wings for wind, but you can also give a charged flame that's pretty much like the Mega Buster from Mega Man. You can use the horse for screwing, unscrewing certain things to progress further in the level. A dash that's even faster than a regular dash, but can only be accessed by the R2 button. Co-op mode. Yeah, co-op is a dying thing of the past, I know, shut up. But I really do want a co-op mode. Yeah, co-op is a dying thing of the past, I know, shut up. But I really do want a co-op where you can both play at the same time in the story mode. How would it work? I don't care. The second player could be Robo Spyro for all I care. I just really want to see it happen. Running around and even burning each other like a barbecue. It'd be really delightful. Time attack mode. In Crash 3 Warp, the game introduced a time relic. For these, you had to rush through the stages for what else? A time relic. So, why am I telling you this? Well, first of all, you must really need to have patience. I mean, I get that our attention span is dying faster than Spot in Star Trek 2, but you really need to gain more patience. I mean, jeez, calm down. Well, anyway, unlike Crash 3, the time attack isn't linked to a story. It's just something to do for fun. Whether to improve every time or compete against friends, I feel like a time attack mode would fit right in Spyro 4. And the number one thing I want in Spyro 4 is being able to mix and match breaths to your liking. There's so much possibilities with that. Earth and fire, bubble and electricity, fire and ice. There's so many to find the results for. It's downright brilliant, which is why it's my number one pick for the thing I want in Spyro 4.
Now, of course, there can be a lot more than just 12 ideas, but I only got 12 ideas in mind. So if you have any other ideas that I haven't talked or mentioned, put them in the comments below. I'd really like to see what you guys come up with. This is Joseph from Joseph's World, and I'll see you guys next time.